going up. Okay, tinuturoan na ako ni Doktora ng sign language, as you can see, caught by the camera, because it is really very fascinating, you know. And once you learn it, it is a very graceful way of communicating. Kasi pag makikita natin, ano, the little twists and bends of the wrist and of the fingers and which finger you're using, it could spell a huge difference, no? I was asking you kanina, how do you say life?
Life.
Life, which is the middle finger going up. Okay.
Life.
So, kasi may mga origins din ito, no? Kaya siya sinabi na gano'n, it's because of the body and the lungs, parang breathing, so life.
Okay. In the same way, pag malungkot ka, pababa, from up
naman siya.
down.
Parang I'm sad. Okay.
With the
slump of the shoulders.
And the
facial expression. Okay. Tapos, Doktora, meron din ako tinanong kanina, sabi ko yung, because there could be so many interpretations, no? Words can be definite, but with sign language, it depends on how you feel. Sabi ko kanina, how do you say, continue fighting for life? And there were several things that you gave me, okay?
Yes, continue fighting. I said, like, this is the sign for continue.
For continue, okay? Two thumbs together.
And then
push forward.
And then to live. Actually, continue to live. But then, like, to continue fighting for life is, it's really this fist going back. With a facial expression.
Right. Fierce yung facial expression.
Fight on.
Yeah, and inspiring?
Inspiring would be from here, going up.
Okay, from here.
Parang it's...
And then you... Oo nga naman, ano, when you do it, it's kind of like, yun yung meaning niya talaga.
Kasi it lifts you up. In the same way, kaya from droop shoulders, gumaganon siya.
Okay. Meron din tayong mga parang coping tools, no, na to go with the sign language. Kasi obviously, pagka hindi nakaririnig ang isang tao at hindi nakatingin, medyo mahirap din because the eyes are utilized for communication. Meron ding skill na lip reading. Do you do that?
Usually, ang lip reading, nagagamit mo siya kapag yung dati, yung tao na yon nakakarinig siya, tapos biglang hindi na siya makarinig ngayon. So, familiar siya dyan sa lip formations. So, kahit na hindi niya naririnig yung tunog, but by simply looking at the lips, then he or she would understand. However, for children who were born deaf, na wala talagang experience, no, of seeing people or experiencing hearing and speaking, lip reading is very difficult.
Parang hindi niya maiko-connect kasi.
Oo. So, depende yan dun sa klase ng deafness. So, na-acquire mo siya, na medyo malaki ka na. Tapos, katulad tayo, pag tumanda na tayo, pwede tayo mag-lip read. Kasi,
I hope not!
Huwag naman, ano. Pero eventually, madali para sa atin. Kasi sanay tayo sa speech. Pero yung pag pinanganak na bingi, mahirapan.
Alright. Meron din mga instances, Doktora, na pinanganak na bingi, deaf talaga siya. So definitely, kaya tayo natutong magsalita kasi by imitation naririnig natin. So kapag wala ka naririnig, definitely hindi ka matutong magsalita. But through the efforts of organizations like you, na-uplift yung or na tumataas yung possibility na ang isang deaf matuto ring magsalita.
Hindi. Actually, kami naman, kami yung mga deaf na hindi nagsasalita. Kaya kailangan nila, nagsa-sign language sila. So, yun ang ini-interpret namin.
Pero because of you are interpreters. Right.
Pero may mga agencies na talagang yun ang focus nila. Oralist sila. So, yan, tinuturuan talaga nila ng speech.
Meron din kasi tayo mga nakikita, Doktora, na while signing, nagsasalita rin. Medyo iba lang yung way of speaking, of course, because it was learned through a different manner, no? Yung sa inyo is basically the signing talaga.
Kami signing, depende again doon sa sinasabi ng deaf. Kasi may mga deaf, ang gusto nila, nagsasign ka lang, hindi nakasara yung bibig mo. May mga iba naman, lalo na yung mga late yan na naging deaf, gusto nila sumisenyas ka at sinasabi mo rin kung ano yung sinesenyas mo. So iba-iba, so depende doon sa kliyente kung ano yung gusto niya, yun ang gagawin namin.
At ito ay kinakaya at kaya ng ating organisasyon.
Kaya yun ng organisasyon. Kaya lang ito yung sinasabi mo na kanina na specialization, na may mga tao na kaya nila yung talking and speaking and signing at the same time. May mga interpreters naman na hindi magagawa yon. So, depende dun sa pangangailangan ng deaf. Dun namimili ngayon yung asosasyon, sino yung tamang match para dun sa pangangailangan niya.
Kasi meron sa mga households, no, merong nakakarinig, merong hindi nakakarinig. So, it is encouraged that you speak while you sign para lahat.
Depende. May mga ibang households, ganyan ang pananaw nila. Pero may mga ibang deaf naman na nahihilo daw sila. Yung sa signing and speaking, sabi niya, pwede bang, mamaya, isara mo muna yung bibig mo. Sabi niya, para maintindihan kita. Kasi daw, tinitingnan na daw nila yung bibig. Tinitingnan pa daw nila yung kamay. Medyo magulo daw.
Right.
Kaya may mga iba, ang preference naman, wag ka nang mag-ano. Pero depende sa household, as what you've said. Because there are households also where that is possible and that is acceptable.
At ito yung sinasabi natin na special needs and concerns na ang makakatutok lang ay yung mga organisasyon which basically has this concern and this focus, no?
Yeah.
Kasi ano ba naman ang alam ko, nakakarinig ako. At pag nakakakita ko, yun lang ang nakikita ko, mababaw lang ang take because all I see is what I understand. Now, meron tayong mga programs to encourage the learning of signing. Could you tell us more about it?
Ang Pinasli, hindi talaga siya teaching agency. So we have members that are schools, and so you can enroll in them.
Right.
And so as I've said, you have PAIDE in Mandaluyong, you have Link in Katipunan, you have PRID in Pasay, you also have St. Benilde on Taft. There are even churches, and I would believe probably the Iglesia ni Cristo Church would have its own teaching arm. So you can learn sign language in these agencies. However, once you want to become an interpreter, which is a step higher, no, from learning just to sign. Kasi nga, it's really interpreting now from spoken language to sign and from sign language to spoken. So that's a higher skill. What we do in the association is to mentor students who have finished already their basic sign language classes until the final level in that school, and then we train them on how to do interpreting. That's where the training comes in. Pero hindi talaga kami school na matututo ka ng sign.
But when it comes to database, kayo yung pwedeng puntahan kasi there are I'm sorry, no, but there are agencies na ang ino-offer nga is mediocre training also, yung wag lang di. So pagka affiliated sa inyo or recognize nyo, yun yung pwede nating sabihin, okay yan.
Oo, kasi para ma-recognize ka bilang parte ng association, may mga nag-a-attest dun sa ability mo. So isang importanteng parang hindi ka pwedeng
maging... So, parang may reference ka.
Parang hindi ka pwedeng maging member lang dahil feel mo. Dahil kailangan merong community na nagsasabi, you will not get us into trouble. So, there are either deaf organizations, let's say, so schools that attest to your ability. So, right now, that's how we accept members. So, they need to present some proof of proficiency. But we also have trainees. So, sila yung... Well, hopefully, by being with us and by being mentored by us, that they would be getting to that level also where they are considered as qualified interpreters. Or by the way, our organization is composed of hearing interpreters and deaf interpreters too. We have deaf interpreters because sometimes in court, the victim is not an educated deaf person, not a school deaf person. So, yung mga kanya-kanyang signs ba nila? And so, I, as a hearing person, will not be able to understand that deaf person. So what happens is that deaf person, the victim, signs to a deaf relay interpreter who interprets to me what this deaf person said and which I tell to the judge.
Kasi yung
during
sign
a court
language,
hearing.
doon sa sinasabi mo, Doktora, because there are educated, no, na yun nga, madali, kung mahirap pa, kung walang katapat sa sign language, it can be spelled out. And that scenario is not present in some instances, no?
Because there are some who are not unschooled talaga.
Right. So, yan ang pangangailangan. Now, last question ko, Doktora, is kumpara dun sa need sa sign language interpreters dito lang sa Pilipinas and the actual number of existing interpreters, how does it vary?
We're far behind. We need more interpreters. In fact, when you need an interpreter, you need to inform the association or the other organizations early on, just to make sure that you have an interpreter. That's how few we are. hindi naman talaga pila, pero hindi siya agaran na may emergency, nandyan na siya. Hindi ganon. So that tells you the problem that we have in terms of the number or the lack of interpreters in the country.
And may I ask also, kasi pag sinabi nating sign language interpreter, I suppose, and correct me if I'm wrong, hindi siya full-time career.
Oo, yun na nga. Because by itself, very few among us can live by our fees as interpreters.
Right.
Many times, our clients do not have the capacity to pay us. And so, most, like myself, I am a professor. Other interpreters in the organization, in our association, are teachers. They're full-time teachers, full-time, some of them are ministers. Others are medical personnel. And they would have to do interpreting duties during breaks,
their off times.
during
Yeah.
off times.
Okay, alright. Ngayon, lumabas na yung pangangailangan na yan at narito rin ang opportunity for those who would want to pick up a certain skill that would be of use to our fellow men. Doktora, na sa pagkakataon to address our audience at para mag-imbita kung sakasakali kumontak sa inyo.
Okay. Maraming salamat muna doon
Yes,
sa pag-invite. No? Kailangan po talaga ng sign language interpreters. Kaya po, in-encourage namin kayo na matuto ng sign language. Ito yung pinakaunang step patungo sa pagiging isang sign language interpreter. So, maraming mga schools na nag-offer. Pag chinek nyo po yung aming website, makikita nyo rin po yung aming contact information, and we could refer you to schools. Siguro gusto ko rin i-encourage na suportahan natin yung mga current bills in Congress regarding having sign language insets on TV and really recognizing the need for interpreters. So if you are an employer and you have a deaf employee, please, whenever you have meetings, get an interpreter because we tend to forget, even during parties ba,
Right.
na hindi, kaya na niya, makikita na niya may party. But it's important to have an interpreter. And again, I'm so thankful that you invited us to
And we
share
are so
about
thankful that
Pinasli.
you were able to make it here
Yeah.
and para maibahagi din sa ating mga kababayan. What you said is so true, no? Nakakalimutan natin, nasa sideline natin sila, but they are an integral and productive part of our
Yes,
society.
that's right.
Mga kaibigan, ipa-flash natin uli ang contact details ng National Association of Sign Language Interpreters. Maya-maya ng konti. Ang ating po nakasama si Dr. Therese Bustos, ang Vice President ng PNASI. Tama po ba yan?
Pinasli, oo.
Pinas. Okay. Doktora, maraming salamat po sa
Thank you
inyo.
also.
Magkukwentuhan pa tayo dyan ka
Yes.
lamang. Okay.
Okay.
Mga kaibigan, magbabalik pa rin po ang APRUB. Huwag kayong aalas. Sandali po lamang.